Remember when you're completing these units that as they appear in your documents that they're an 8 out of 10. For full credit, you want to complete the editing task at the end of each chapter. So taking a look at the editing task for Unit 3, we start with going to our Sims document that we wrote in Google Docs. So we'll go ahead and go to Sims in Google Docs. And from here, I take a look, I can see my whole document, and I have pretty simple instructions on this one, is just switching it to Times New Roman and 12. So I'm going to just select all the text I've written, and I'm going to go to my font. Remember, it appears in alphabetical order, which is a handy way to find these. The second way is in recent. So since I've used it before, it's right in my recent one. I don't have to scroll down. So Times New Roman and size 12. And that's the only change I'm making to this one. And then it's all ready to go. The second one we'll need to complete is our business letter to Turner. So I'm going to come down here and go to Turner. And I need to make a few changes in this one. We're going to insert a watermark and insert a graphic. So let's take a second and see how we go through that. In this version, I'm going to go ahead and select the Design tab up here, and then over on the right you can see the watermark option. I can just click it and it shows me some options, and for this particular item I'm just going to select, it says to choose one of these confidential options, so I'm just going to click one. You can barely see across your page it's put in that confidential notation. The next thing it asks us to do is enter a graphic with dimension to it. And so I'm writing to a university, so I'm just going to go to my online pictures, and let's see what we can find here. We could just type university and see what it gives us. We'll go ahead and just any of these university ones will work. Just go ahead and select insert. Now obviously this one is way too big, so I'll shrink it down. Don't forget to change your options so you can drag it around. We have the icon to wrap text, and sometimes they'll enter. This one's just dragging inside this text box. We don't want that. So we need to go ahead and make sure that we're selecting the wrap in front of text so we can move it around to effective position in our document. Now you can see it's with this little white background, it's wiping out our confidential, so we might drag it down here so it's not interfering with that visual that we have on the confidential item. So those are the two items. We have the watermark and the graphic there. Let's add dimension to that too. Again, you can come up here and use some of these options to just give your graphic a little better look. So just be familiar with this menu, especially with clip arts. Can be kind of fun because you can change a lot of the coloring very easily to make it more like something you're interested in. And then just make sure you save with your updates. So in this last sample of our third letter, this was written by a student who has completed this section with their own opinion about social media was their topic. They picked that one. So again, I'm looking for correct business letter format. So as we look up here, we have the current date, the contact information, who they're writing to, quality paragraphs, block style. They chose to use punctuation, so they matched here and here, so that's fine. Left a spot to sign. Again, closing information. As we look, we want to add a colorful page border, and so we have here. So again, we can go to design and page borders, and we just went ahead, double check. Again, the key here is making sure you select box because a lot of kids skip that, and you can see in the diagram how it will apply. So we have that. Another item is adding the watermark, a custom watermark. So you can click this and then go to custom, and it lets you put in the text you want. If it's tough to see, you can change how dark it is with just adjusting that a little bit. So that's the custom watermark option. And again, I just went right here and selected custom watermark. So this one says social media. probably could be darkened up just a notch to make it a little more visible. And then finally, a relevant graphic. So since it's social media, looks like we have Snapchat. I might come up here and add a little more flavor to it than was submitted, so it kind of looks cool. We have a little shadow and a border on it right there. The next part of this is, now that we have written it and setting it up, we also need to jump back into Schoology, and we have here what we call the Grammar Reaper. We want you guys to do some quality writing, so we take a look here and we want to follow these same things. Before you submit this, take a look at it. Did you check for capitalization? Is it correct? Do you have complete sentences? Are you correctly using and or but? Are you being careful with paragraph structure instead of walls or blobs of text? Are commas used correctly? Are you writing numbers correctly? Any other formatting, is it correct, especially in a business letter format? Those are the things we're looking at in this document to be correctly done. So you should end up with something very close to this. Again, a border added, a graphic with some special dimension to it, and then finally, of course, the quality business letter.